Hey, Paul, that's your fucking cue, fat ass. Come on, Paul.
Y'all started without me. That's fucked up.
Go ahead. Say your stupid thing. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh, hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw. Yeah, I ran out of breath.
I guess that weight loss journey isn't helping that. Anyways, hey.
Oh, no. Oh, do your intro.
We're not there
then
yet.
We're going to
We're
talk
not
about
there
it.
yet.
I'm
Hey,
excited.
Welcome to the Bats and Brews podcast. I'm Alex. He's Paul. We've got a guest, Bailey, BBB for short. We'll get to him in a minute. Welcome to your weekly distraction from high quality podcasts.
He doesn't know what that means yet. It's going to be a surprise.
I'm going to take a guess.
What's the guess?
Big Booty Bailey.
That's it, brother. Big Booty Bailey.
The sad part is you're not the first one to say that in my lifetime.
Well,
Listen, all you got to do is look at
looks
every...
like Jennifer Lopez in the year 2000.
His name's Bailey from the block, and his hips don't lie. Anyways, welcome to Bats and Brews, your weekly distraction from high quality podcasts. If you guys like what you're listening, any of them, if you guys like what you're listening to and you want to help support the show, you can head over to patreon.com/Bass and Brews, become a producer of the show for the low price of $15 million. Nope, just joking. It's $5, but you can head over there, and that'll also get you access to three things. One, our gratitude, because we do this show for all of you listeners. Two, it'll get you access to Last Call with Alex and Paul, the exclusive live show we do on YouTube every month for all the Patreon members. And then
tomorrow, but if you're listening to this and you weren't there, you missed it.
Yeah, you missed it. It's a good time over there. We sit around with you guys, the producers, and we just kind of answer chat. It's not structured like this show is. We don't have a guest. It's just me and Paul's ugly face.
Paul
and
no,
fuck you. We're starting this already.
Paul and me. Fuck.
Oh God, I hate you. Anyways, and then also, if you want to win Paul's shit, about a year ago, I promised Paul a box of crankbaits, really nice 6 cents crankbaits, and he never got them. But you know who's going to get them? You guys. We do a, what are we supposed to call it? I always forget. You had a really good name for it.
You're going to win them, and Alex isn't going to send them. That's what we're calling it. You're going to win them.
True.
Alex won't send them. Did you send the last one? Did you send October's?
I have not sent October's yet.
There you go.
But
this man's fucking wife goes to the post office every day of her life, and he can't mail shit out. You're an asshole.
All right. Anyways, before we get to Bailey, you guys all know Bailey. If you don't, we'll do a quick introduction, I guess. He's got some bullshit podcast called Serious Angler. It's like a really small podcast. We're basically here to help uplift him in the podcast community. Yeah, he's trying to get to the pro level that we're at. So, but before we get there, we want an update on Paul's journey. And just to catch people up, last week he was up 3 pounds.
2
pounds.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, he was up fucking 14 probably because he refuses to take a scale.
It is my turn. It's my turn.
You get sassy.
Short up. We're good. I'm down 27 pounds. No, 28 pounds. So we got 3 on the mark. Good. I had a rough 3 weeks. Couldn't lose no weight. So I added in. I got a little $200 rowing machine from the Amazon. Yeah. And I started getting my ass on there. A minimum of 30 minutes is the goal. But the goal that I want is an hour.
There you go.
So we've been hitting that hard. We're down 3 more pounds finally now. 247, 28 pounds total. We're on our way. I wanted it to be 65 pounds. I wanted to get to 210. So we're going there. But man, I mentioned this 2 or 3 episodes ago. When you get a little overweight or excessively overweight as I was, things start to happen that didn't happen before that you take.
Yeah.
That
your
you
pecker
just don't
was
know.
working again.
Yeah. Well, you know, they say with every 10 pounds you lose, you gain a half inch of pecker size or so.
Wow.
So it looks bigger.
Congrats.
It still works.
Congrats at an inch.
It still works.
Great success.
Hey, look, an inch is a lot when you only got 4. I mean, that box turtle don't come out often, but when it does, he's getting stronger. I'll tell you this. So I mentioned last time when I put on my socks and shoes, I used to have to take a deep breath and just have the sock in one hand and pull my foot to me with the other and hope that the sock latched on to the toes and I could wiggle it up. Now I can put my socks on with two hands again.
That's good.
That's really good. But I tell you, one of the biggest thing, meat and vegetables. That's pretty much what I eating. Cut out the grains.
You say it every
meat
episode.
And vegetables.
Every episode.
Look,
nobody wants to hear it.
when I go duty now, it's like two wipes, and there's no duties, there's no duke smearing. Like it comes out. I have to sit on the toilet for 30 minutes. You know, it's not a mess when I'm done. That's been pretty awesome to have.
That's good.
Well. But I feel better, and my snoring's gotten way better. Part of that
You're almost at the level. You're almost at that level to where you could, like get right to that.
Snore X. The other thing that helped.
Who are the young college girls going to sleep with?
Paul's
That's
almost at that
That's
level.
Alex in 20 years.
I like how I
It
cut
looks
you
like
off.
you
That
in
was my
20
favorite.
years.
No, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Good.
28 pounds. We've got 27 more to go, people. No, we got
Good.
37 more to go. God,
37 more.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of motherfucking pounds.
Yeah. Well,
Man. Hey, get yourself a rower. And I put my little iPad up on there and I watch a movie or some YouTube and I just close my eyes and I pretend I'm somewhere else. And that shit still goes by slow as fuck.
you should put on
Bluetooth connected.
Oh, you
Shut
fucking dipshit. You anyways, you should put on my 600-pound life so you have something to look like. I don't want to be like that.
Bluetooth
Like
is connected.
put it on behind you so you just keep looking and you're like rowing faster because that's where you were heading.
It would be, there's no way I could get to 600 pounds because then I couldn't climb up into the crusher truck to crush trash. It wouldn't work.
Oh, dude, have you thought about putting your fat ass in that crusher truck to see if you could crush away some of those pounds?
Doesn't work like that, buddy.
Oh, shit.
Good for
Doesn't
you,
work
though,
like
Paul.
that.
Yeah.
See, thank you,
All right.
Bailey. This Alex tells me this shit in private. He applauds me.
No, I
He says, I'm
don't. No,
proud
I
of
don't.
you. You know, good job, buddy. He never says this shit when we're on the podcast. He's a hater.
You got to just
You know what?
screenshot that and put it on social media for people to see.
Then I'd have to be recording it. Look, we don't even edit this podcast. There's no way I'm making fucking video of this stupid podcast.
No, you just
Unless
Speaking
it's a
of stupid-
fucking cooking video.
Speaking of stupid podcast, we have Bailey Agbrate on here who does not have a stupid podcast. He's got, I would say, one of the top two. We're gonna have to put Pangrak up there with Bass Talk Live because they've been around forever. But Bailey's podcast has just risen to the levels of the serious angler, as Alex likes to say. That's where
He's not in
from at the end.
He's not in the dark waters. He's to the highest levels to be a serious
The
angler.
serious
So-
angler. That's where that saying comes
All right,
from.
eat in
is-
dark waters.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Josh.
Serious Angler
I hope he-
Podcast, Bailey. Oh God, what, Alex? Go.
Nothing.
Jesus, this
Go.
is supposed to be my episode.
Okay, go ahead.
Bailey, welcome to Bass and Brews podcast.com at gmail.com. If you want to send us email, 5-star review, leave us a shittiest review you can leave us, but 5 stars, we'll read it out. Anyway, for the people that maybe who don't know you, tell us about you.
I thought there was gonna be a prompt there.
Well, no, it was a pause. It was a pause for a little bit of dramatic time in between. It's a dramatic pause.
Bailey
very
thought
s-
it was
You almost
delayed.
mucked it up.
I thought you were frozen for a second, to be honest.
All right, though,
Dramatic
give us
eye
a quick
contact.
introduction because I think most people know you, at least that are listening to this. So give us a quick introduction who you are, and then we're going to get down into the meat and taters of why I asked you to be on this bitch.
Yeah, I sometimes fish, and when I do, I suck. And then when I don't fish, I run a really crappy podcast that you should
Boom.
not listen to.
Both
That is
of
the
those
best
are false
tagline ever.
statements. This bitch has won like 3 New York State Championship kayak fishing championships in a row.
It's all fake, bro. I AI all of them. It's all fake. These people don't even exist. I paid Dwayne Wally for all of the entrants just to make it look like there's a lot of people competing.
I heard the only reason you win is because you have forward-facing sonar and you know all the pros.
Yeah, dude, I cheat all the time.
Buying wild.
Hey,
God damn, I can't even say it.
Bailey, are those tournaments okay with you having 2 kayaks?
2 kayaks.
Yeah, because if you guys don't know, Bailey's known for a couple things. 1, for being a hammer on the water. 2, for his actually amazing podcast. And 3, this dude has the best ass in the fishing game.
He does.
So the running joke here is that you have to keep a separate kayak just to put them cakes in, basically. So
it's my pontoons, bro. So it keeps me afloat.
Bailey seriously has the best ass in not just kayak fishing, but all of fishing.
Every time I'm on this show, my ass comes up.
It's Bass and Brews, Bailey. You should know this shit by now. We're going to talk about your ass and how wonderfully wonderful it is.
But no, the best part is it's not even this show. Like Rudd, it's every single time on Rudd's too.
Yeah.
But
I don't get it. Y'all need to just
because you're not looking at looking at that ass in all your social media like we are. We are glued into those cheeks.
I'm gonna start editing all the crap I put out there with your face on both cheeks, just so that's all you guys see.
and put Rudd in the middle in your hiney hole.
Yeah,
in the balloon.
Actually, I think that when Rudd was on for the Halloween special, I also think that we brought up your butt also on that episode.
Yes, every time.
Rudd clipped it.
It is very good. It is very good. It's luscious. He has a lucky wife. Does she know how lucky she is? Does she like you know how guys always walk by their wives and smack them on the ass and they're like, don't do that. Does she do that to you? Does she like walk by and just I mean, she'd have to do it with like both hands to get half of one butt cheek in her little hands.
It's a mutual slapping relationship.
Oh.
She's getting in there, slapping, getting a handful, going, "This is mine."
Yeah. Just vulgar.
Man, you need to get away from the direct behind shots when you stand up, when your pants or when your butt's eating your pants. Give us some side shots of your hiney. We want to see some profile
That's
shots.
for the OnlyFans page.
Dude, you gotta pay for the subscription on YouTube for that kind of noise.
That's a good move. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you did that?
What does this tier get you? It gets you the side view.
It gets you a profile ass shot of every video I do. It's just from the side.
You put out a regular video and you're like, oh, you like this view. If you'd like to see this view, you can pay $5 a month.
I want to see you stand up one time and have a thong on and have the tip of it like right at the
like a whale tail sticking out.
Yeah, the whale tail.
Yeah.
Oh man. Look, this man has probably a top 3 or 5 most listened to podcasts in the fishing realm, and we're over here spending at least 10 minutes now talking about his ass. This is why I love Bailey, because he's not tutti frutti or whatever, hooty tooty, whatever the fuck one of them
hoity
tooties
toity.
is. Sure,
hoity toity.
He likes to come on here and shoot shit with us.
You're not
tutti frutti.
If this is going to be a fun episode, but if you want to listen to a really fun one, go back a couple of months to when we got Bailey doing tournament prep, like at an Airbnb. He had a bunch of twisted teas in him, and then he had this rogues gallery of people staying at the house with them. Yeah, Bruce is the guy who's married.
New York boys, yeah.
Yep. Bruce was married like 12 times. His real name wasn't Bruce. At some point, there's an A&E documentary.
He had not been married 12 times.
The best part of that show was literally when you guys were wrapping up that he didn't realize it was recording. He thought it was like a Zoom call. He didn't realize it was a podcast. He's like, please don't show my wife.
Dude, that was fucking hilarious.
She couldn't find this podcast if she searched for Bass and Brews. It still wouldn't come up. That's how bad we are.
All right, make that a ritual. We had to do like state championship house. We get all the boys every year. We got Bruce in there. We got
dude. That would be.
We need to do that,
dude. We had such good feedback on that because everybody, you and your team there. Everybody was definitely feeling the dad pops. Everybody was real loosey goosey, having a good time. Obviously, because Bruce thought it was just a fucking phone call. But like that was a good time. When I remember when we got done, me and Paul were like, "Oh, we got to do this again," because that was fun as shit.
Paul and I.
Yeah. We tried to do that with
year.
Russ. We tried to do that with Russ Snyder's, and he just took us to a weird gas station parking lot where he almost got knifed. And that's how we did our podcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yep. He has strobe lights going off, so I'm pretty sure he was
The lot
trying to call
lizards.
some lot lizards.
Yeah.
And he had to tell him to go away a couple times. So
I could see Russ being the rave type.
Listen, I'm going to say right now, Russ, if you're listening, you are a fucking liar.
He's
said you didn't know. You said you didn't know what a lot lizard. Russ, if you look at yourself in the mirror, you know that you know what a lot lizard is. A man that looks like that knows what a lot lizard is. All right.
all right.
Trying to pull up the standings for that. I totally forgot TOC's happening right now.
Oh yeah, TOC down at Santee is happening right now. Our boy Jordan Marshall put up 103 inches today.
Yeah, Ryan. I can't never pronounce his name. He's from PA, leading with 192. Ryan Machulowicz. You guys know what I'm talking about?
You know what? He did good down at Murray that second day with us, Bailey.
Yeah,
I think he ended up finishing like second or third or something like that. He had a really good second day at Murray because he
got second when I got third.
Yeah.
The bastard beat me by a quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
Listen, if you would have just put a little more ass into it, you would have had that extra quarter inch.
Or if he'd have lost 10 pounds, he'd have had that extra half inch. Oh!
Now I just picture Bailey just slaps his wiener on the board when he takes a picture of the fish, and he's like, "Listen, it had a weird tail. I don't know what to tell you."
Hey, look, all right, all serious though. I wanted to have Bailey on for two reasons. The first reason is because Alex and I aren't worth a fuck when it comes to hosting a podcast. So, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Alex is texting me, "Do you have anybody?" And I'm texting him.
That.
Yeah, I've sent like 5 messages out. I ain't sent a goddamn message out. But we are behind. But I wanted to have Bailey on specifically to talk about, as a whole, the state of professional bass fishing right now, with the focus of it coming on to the elites announcing, I guess last week, that it is a no entry fee tournament as of now. Sounds like it might change. As of now, a no entry fee. And all right, I'm going to preface this real quick, so I'm going to be not long-winded as the most I can. I saw when they announced this, I saw almost everybody that I know on Facebook and Instagram talking about the people who don't fish the elites, kayak anglers, other anglers, regular angler Joes going, does this make professional bass fishing a real professional sport? This is how it needs to be. This is awesome. This is great. And then I start seeing folks on the elites going, they didn't say this, but their words that I will say that they said to themselves was, "What the fuck? Fuck this. This ain't the shit. This ain't what it seems to be."
Mm-hmm.
So that's the perception I got, is that the people ain't on the elites were like, "This is great. This is like going to be professional basketball and stuff. They don't have to pay." And then people started putting out the payouts from last year to what the payouts are going to be this year, and they're lower and all this and that. So this podcast, we're really going to talk about the state of bass fishing, professional bass fishing, but I do want to get Bailey's input on how this goes, because he is in the industry. He talks to a lot of professional anglers, and I have some questions and opinions that I'm going to put out there. And I know Alex does as well, because I told him this morning, this is what we were talking about. And I know he spent at least half the day at his job researching what was going on. So I know he's going to have a lot of input and questions as well. But Bailey, let's start it off with this. Okay. How do you feel about them going with the no entry fee? How does that make you feel as somebody that doesn't fish it, as somebody in the industry but knows about professional fishing?
my opinion kind of changed, and now it's just kind of in a state of unknown, I guess. I really don't have a way forward or against it right now. I think it doesn't help that it's the fact that I'm a fan. I don't have a stake in the game, and that's the one thing I try to preface all the time, especially as folks like myself that are literally just talking on a podcast. I'm not a pro angler. I'm not going to say I'm not going to act like I'm a pro angler, and I'm not going to speak on behalf of a pro angler. But from the outside looking in, I was really excited at first. I was one of the yahoos that saw the title and basically read a title of a video versus going and read the whole book type of deal. I read through it. It all looked great until, and Bass was kind of sneaky with this. They hyperlinked part of it where the payout structure was. Said that they're increasing the payout of 11. I think it was 11 to 18 or 11 to 20, whatever it was.
Yep.
Didn't preface what followed that. And that's what the issue is right now. And also their verbiage was they increased the payouts from 11 to 18, not on average, on the weighted up from like 11, 12, 13, 14 higher payout. But then honestly, I think when it was down to like 17, 18, it was less than what it was last year. So they kind of what I think the comment I saw, and I won't mention who it was from a pro angler, was smoke and mirrors, and I think it's exactly what Bass pulled here. Looking at it after the fact, you know who I'm talking about. Then,
yep.
Love that man. But basically, it said that.
Pretty sure it was on the high class Bassmaster memes.
Yes.
Post because that whoever the fuck that guy is was excited about it too.
And Randy Blockett. It's Randy Blockett. He fucking
heard this chick. But yeah, no, at first I was excited until it was really when and what I did, we put out a breaking news segment on Serious Angler about it. And that's one thing where it's part of trying to do, yes, we're doing some stuff for views, if you will, but also being part of a news segment, but also trying to do the news thing that people are doing and not being the Randys and being negative about everything, but try to give a positive spin on everything to try to either way. But once I finally started calling some of the guys that were in the elites, and every single guy's perception was this sucks, that's when I started to kind of understand, and really I finally found the actual payout structure that wasn't very easy to find from that. And I understand where they're coming from. But for a while, it took me a hard time to understand. It's like, okay, but you're starting the year not 45 grand in the hole. And that's the big part for me, where reasonable. It's great, but I understand where it's like, if you have 100 anglers, which is the elite series, if you finish 20th in AOI, that's a pretty damn good job that year compared to the 100 of the some of the best anglers in the world.
You make the classic at 20th,
but you don't make crap money wise. Right. But at the end of the day, any of that money that's made though is positive, because I don't know. I go back and forth on this all the time, and it's one where I think they just the diagrams that the guys have actually gone and made, I think, does all the talking when you see who actually lost money in last year compared to this year. And I think that's where the results are in, where like, hey, it's not a positive money making scheme here. Which is crazy, because even when you factor in paying entry fees versus not paying entry fees, it's pretty bad when you're still losing money when you're not having to start the year 45 grand in the hole. So it's the way I look at it is it's a half step forward. It's not a full step forward. It's a step in the right direction, but it's if they can go and basically mimic the payouts from last year and have no entry fees, you have an incredible product. And that's all it takes, is just that part there.
Where's this money coming from?
That is a question that probably should ask to Bass, and you're never going to get a real answer if you do ask them. I'm
going to email them tomorrow.
Yeah, go for it. He'll never. You gotta go straight to junk.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know where it's coming from, man. Because when you take 100 anglers and you take 45 grand for each person, that's a lot of money they're not getting for the year. So it's, I don't know if it's sponsors stepping up, or if it's, at the end of the day, you got to always remember Bass is a business.
Right.
And they care about making
Right.
money. And so they're getting the money from somewhere, or and I again, this is theory. This is just discussion. This is not my theory. This is just something I've heard in the ether. So take this with a heavy grain of salt. That this is, again, smoke and mirrors for a business that might be failing, and to make things look better while spending less money.
Well, so yes, they're a business. They're just like MLB, NFL, NBA. Somebody I follow posted some Major League Baseball, what the teams bring in versus their payroll.
Right.
And there are a lot of teams in MLB whose payroll is 20%, 30%, 40% of the revenue that they bring in. So, there are a ton of teams that are bringing in revenue and their payroll is less than 50% of that. So there's a big discrepancy in the money that the owners in the league are making versus what the players are making, even though baseball, guaranteed contracts, huge contracts, a lot of money.
No salary cap.
No salary cap. This is one of the questions that I have, Bailey. And I'm going to start off on this, kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but they came up with all this money to pay out with no entry fees. Why can't they have the entry fees on top of this money? Why can't we do that? Why can't the guys pay the entry fees that they were paying? Then all this money that they magically found this year to pay the anglers, why can't they stack it? And that's why I asked you, where did this money come from? And we don't know. But why
the problem is there you can get the layout of MLB financially. You're not going to get that with Bass.
Right. This is all us just guessing and opinions. But my thing is they found all this money to have no entry fees going into 2025. Where has this money been the last, let's say, 5 years that they could have added on top of all the winnings that the guys were getting paying entry fees? And that's been one of my biggest hangups with professional fishing, is that it's a pay to play sport. You got to pay the entry fees. You have to pay the $45,000 up front. Like no other professional sport makes you pay to play. But all of a sudden they find these hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay the guys fishing without paying entry fees. Why can't they have them pay the entry fees and then add that money on top of it, if that makes sense, right? So instead of, because they've been winning $100,000 since the early 2000s when the Elite started. Yep. The payouts have not changed, but the entry fees, the costs for the anglers to travel and fish have increased. But since 2006, we're almost 20 fucking years from now, the payouts have not changed, not gone up. Mm-hmm. But everything else has. So, they found all this money to have no entry fees. How can we bridge that gap that they pay an entry fee, but they got all this money from Bass to go in? Add it on top.
I don't think they want to do the entry fees. Again, I'll start with what Bailey said. I'm a fucking stupid dude on a plastic boat that runs a shitty podcast. I'm not in the industry,
idiot.
right?
You're an idiot.
But here's my thing: is I think that they're trying to legitimize the quote unquote sport of bass fishing, because just like Paul said, no other major sport. PGA got rid of entry fees in the late 80s, early 90s. NASCAR, I think, would be the closest, and they got rid of theirs in the mid 90s to late 90s.
Yeah,
right?
but NASCAR,
I know,
we can't compare NASCAR because
we can't. It's the same thing.
No.
Hold on.
Well,
but,
it is to bass fishing.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So
they still have to pay to play. In a
to
sense.
Get
Not
rid
the
of
drivers, but the teams do.
The teams do. That's different for the team license. F1 does that as well. That's totally different. But I think this is them trying to legitimize the quote unquote sport of fishing, right? They're trying to put themselves to that level. I think they want to make a push. I don't know if it's a sale of the company or whatever, but to where they can legitimately say, like, we are on the same level as a lot of these other niche sports, right? Like They're not going to be on the level of golf, and I'm going to continue to reference golf. I have some numbers later, because it is very similar to golf because there's actual payouts, right? Like when the Eagles go out and played like dog shit, but somehow get a win, it doesn't matter either way because they're going to get paid, right? It doesn't matter that Jalen Hurts is a choke artist and he sucks, and the only anybody worse than him on that team is their head coach, right? It doesn't matter because they're going to get paid. They're not getting paid for the win, right? I would say that's a whole different realm of sports, and that's like the traditional side, while something like PGA, which those players, those athletes are getting paid a whole hell of a lot of money, but they have to win to make that level of money.
But
well, last place gets 100K. Last place in PGA Tour gets 100K.
Yeah.
Actually, they changed their payouts. I have it. Hold on, time out. I have a change to that. So they made a change this year. Last place takes $33,000 now. It's a considerable drop.
I don't.
So it used to be 100K.
Pull that up.
Used to be 100K after they did the weird. I have it. So after they did the weird merger with Live Golf, they've dropped it to $33,000.
How many golfers are golfing in a PGA tournament? How many?
About 200.
Okay, so
just showing up, you get $33,000.
$33,000
just showing up
right now for elites.
Right,
it is right. But if we look at the number differences, so I want to go back. I want to go
ton more money that the anglers are putting in than the golfer on that, and the sponsorships are way better in golf than fishing.
But if you look at it, it's a little on level. So Bailey, you were saying that some folks were disappointed because the checks aren't going down as deep, right? So like there was no change to the payout for Bassmaster. There's no change to the payout from 2nd till 10th, right? Am I looking at this right? Yeah. So no change to that, right?
Less. No, it's less.
No, it's the exact
It's less
same.
in the top. Yeah, it's less.
No, I'm looking at the two charts right now. Second place at an Elite Series tournament gets $30K. That's exactly what they got last year.
Well, all right.
Right.
Y'all keep talking about last year. We're just use that 2024 and 2020. We're still in this.
30K.
Okay.
30K. They get 30K, right? So it's the same. But what they did was basically, it looks like from 10th to 18th, they're going to get paid a little bit more than they got the previous years. But that check line is moving down to the 30th, right? Because that final day cut's going to be at 30 anglers now. Now, in comparison, a winner of a golf tournament is going to take in around $2.5 million to win the tournament, right? But the bottom is going to get 33. So it's similar, obviously different monies, right? But it's similar, and I actually applaud them using this performance to get money because they're not paying the entry fees now, right? If you want to get paid a check, you have to go out and fish. I think when it was voted in for more people to get money, it was so that they could cover the costs. So anglers could cover the costs of these that they had to buy into the tournament. Now they don't. So it should be more performance-based. So I understand that you have to travel around the country, but this is your chosen profession. I totally get it. You chose
one
this.
Perspective, dude, that I completely agree with. That I get why some of these guys are making the argument, but that's the one thing I do come back to a lot is we've said it for years and years and years that tournament fishing is high stakes or glorified gambling.
Yes.
If you understand that and you still expect to get paid when you finish middle of the pack, then it's
right. You shouldn't get shit. You shouldn't get shit. There's performance bonuses.
Still talking. Shush.
You can interrupt me anytime.
Thanks. Yeah. So there's performance bonuses in like the NFL again, right? So the NFL has performance bonuses, right? So when Jalen Hurts doesn't hit his bonus because he's a piece of shit quarterback and he's not going to be able to hit the touchdown
about my
bonus.
boy like that.
Anyways, but when he doesn't get it right, he's not going to get paid.
I thought you were a Buffalo Bills fan.
No, he's an Eagles fan.
I've been an Eagles fan my whole life, bro.
His whole life, you dipshit.
Bills.
Anyways, but when they don't hit them right, you don't get paid. And it should be the same thing here. If you want to be treated like a sport, now they got rid of your entry fees. So now you're a real sport, which means if you don't perform, you're shit out of luck.
But we can't compare this to football and basketball and baseball because there are teams there.
Okay,
There's
so
a
golf.
team Golf and NASCAR are the two things. Even though NASCAR still has a team, but golf is the closest thing we can do that. But in the overall sense, so there's a lot more people watching golf on a Saturday and Sunday than they're watching fishing. You know, there's a lot more sponsorship pies, as Joe LaBarbera liked to talk about a couple years ago.
Yep.
There's a lot more pie to go around with that stuff. This is if they want to do no entry fees, Bass, if they're going to continue with this, they're going to have to cut the field down to like 50 people. So then the winnings go up. And then you're like good. NASCAR. NASCAR has 36 teams. That means you have around 36 drivers at a race. You don't have 100, and you're not trying to cover them. You're of course they're all in one place too. That's the thing with fishing; they're all over the fucking place. But dropping the number of people will make it to where they can focus on people a lot easier. And then those payouts do go up, and then it's harder to qualify. So they got to change. Like there's a lot of shit to change. It's interesting to me with the fact again that they have this money to pay with no entry fees. Where was this money last year with the entry fees? Like, you know, there's apparently money there to make shit work more. But Bailey, I'm interested in something you said a little bit earlier.
The money with the entry fees, though, it didn't. I think if you look at it. I think they said they only added $200,000 to the payout, where it's
Yep.
So that was all that was added to it. Where all it looked like they did this year was made it more top heavy. That's
so. What do the entry fees cover if you got 100 guys at $45K and they're only adding 200,000 of that? Where's the
to make money?
Yeah, they have to make money. It's a league. They can't just nobody's going to add. This isn't a charity event. Like they're not putting 100% of the proceeds.
Well, goddamn, now they ain't.
I'm with you though, Paul. Like, I mean, I'm with it. So you question where the rest of that money was going. Why couldn't they make the entry or the payouts higher last year when they were paying entry fees? It's you ask that question a lot. Unfortunately, with what we have right now in the bass fishing industry, you're not going to get anywhere when you ask anybody about that. They're not going to tell you, give you a straight answer. The same reason why I think none of them have really gone to YouTube yet is because you'll have an actual viewership number. They say they have a record year. Well, where's the money to be able to pay up for these? So
it's like the KFL. It's like the KFL that had 2 million viewers and nobody could find where the motherfucking viewers were coming from.
You
Fishing League.
Can't believe that stuff. So it's I want to believe it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to have a seemingly negative outlook against it because I've loved watching Bassmaster my entire life.
Yep.
Especially my personal I want to see the best happen for some of these anglers or some of the best people I've met in my entire life. And I want all the best for all these guys. I want them all to be able to compete and make money and live comfortably. It's just, sometimes we got to be real about some of this stuff. And that's the problem too right now. Just total sidebar is people take this constructive criticism way too personal these days. Especially, never mind. I won't even go there actually.
Well, so there's
I'll get a call from somebody at Bass and it'll just ream me out for no reason.
Alex tells me I'm fat as fuck. I don't take that shit personally.
You should.
He's short as fuck and I can lose weight, but he'll never get taller.
But you don't. Anyways,
I do. I lost 28 pounds, bitch.
I think what like again, a lot of these guys they want to make money. Obviously, everybody wants to do that. They want to fish. They want to make money, but it is a lot of it's hard work to go out there and fish well in these tournaments. And I think by doing this, you're gonna have to be better to make more money, right? But I think Bass also sees it on the other end. If these guys also devoted time or a little bit of their own money, these anglers, some of them are very successful, and it has nothing to do whether they win a tournament or not. These are anglers who turn to content creation. These are editors anglers who paid for editors and things like that to chop all their shit up. And now they're making some of that YouTube AdSense money, but they're getting better sponsorships. There's things like that. There's folks that I consider pro anglers who don't even fish tournaments because they're making content, getting paid by fishing companies to make content, right? So I could see them. Bass is like, well, fuck you. Like, you want more money? Go start a YouTube. Go be Randy Blockett and bitch every single day about how fishing ain't like it, because people will watch that shit. Like, I don't understand. These guys complain about it, right? But then you look for their social presence and they have none. It's just a wasteland of nothing. Like, you're giving up money that you could make really easily. Like, people want to hear what they have to say. You do a channel, bada bing, bada boom.
Hey,
Yeah, I think just the one problem that guys are having though is, and I understand where they're coming from, is I think it was like Cody Huff was the biggest loser in this in regards to, I think he was even like 4th or 5th in Angler of the Year standings. And if you compare the payouts from this past season to the proposed 2025 season, he lost like 50 grand.
Yeah,
Which is insane, especially when you're in the top 5 Angler of the Year. That's rough. So I get where they're coming from here. I think there's still definitely
that's a big cut. Actually,
huge.
I'm just looking at it. Huge cut for AOI payouts, actually.
That on top of they just compared just from his earnings from season to season, and I think Alex Weatherall was the one that put it out first. There's a few of them floating around, but like the graphs of each angler and what they had, and when you have majority of guys in the red, there's an issue there. And look, this is why I'm so torn about this issue, and this is why it's great that I'm not involved, because I don't want. It's a good thing I have no stake in this decision whatsoever,
right?
Because I don't know what the decision is. I don't know what the good recourse is. But I mean, what I look at is like, yes, it is a competitive sport. It's gambling. You should have to bet money. Like, top heavy should get the majority of the payout. I get that, 100%. But there also is like, when the people at the top aren't making money, that's a huge problem. But one thing I do like, I love that you said it, and I completely agree wholeheartedly what you just said there, Alex. Is I said, you know what, now, and this is the first thing right off the get that I thought of. That's 45 grand that likely these guys are getting all from sponsors. Then now you can, a sponsor's going to look at that. They're not going to look at you like, oh, it's not going towards entry fees. We're not going to pay you that money. No, they're like, oh, now our money's going to go towards something that's actually productive. We're going to take 20 grand that we would have gone to entry fees, and it's going to pay for some kid to follow you around and help you with social media and do video, do photo. That's going to help your brand, going to help the angler's brand. It's so much money now that you can go and invest in yourself. Like, that is, I think that's great for it. I hope more guys realize that. I'm not trying to say that that's like the present for not having no entry fees and having shitty payouts.
I think it's a present. I think it's a present, because when those sponsors leave, you can use their money to build a brand, and then your brand will carry on past whatever your sponsor's brand is, right? Like Mike Iaconelli, he's an icon. He's an icon because he built a brand around his name, right? Jacoby Whaler also built a whole brand around his name due to YouTube. Like, these are like, and I mean, well, he built a brand on catching a lot of 1 pound fish, but other than that, like, you know what I mean? All that stuff is built.
I was so confused for a second. I was like,
what do you mean, Jacoby Whaler? Didn't I say that right?
I was so lost. I'm like, is he a golfer? Who is this guy?
Hey, Bailey, that is a very interesting point, that if your sponsors are giving you the majority of money you're putting towards those entry fees, now that's cash. That's money that you can put towards social media, right? Let's just go there. Social media is the thing that's changing fishing. That's why that fishing pie of money with sponsors is so much smaller for the pro anglers now, because you can have Jim Bob over here fishing farm ponds in North Carolina that's getting $20,000 a year in sponsors because he's selling product, and he's bringing brand awareness. And this is why I want to have you on, because we didn't have anybody else. But also, this is why I want to have you on, was because you create content. You have the Serious Angler content. You create your own content, own content. Like, that's a mindset. And OnlyFans, but he doesn't get sponsorship money for that, I don't think, unless
I pay my $15 a month.
No, I do it for free, bro. I'm not
monetized. He does it for free. I'm not monetized.
But you think about that though. This could potentially be an opportunity for these younger anglers that are they're good anglers. They're way ahead of anglers were 10, 15, 20 years ago because of technology, and because they get to fish way more on a competitive level than folks like Ike or Swindle or those guys came up with.
Yeah.
But this is a good opportunity for them to take their sponsorship money and put it towards social media and to create a brand that if they don't make the elites after 2 years on the elites, shit, they're Ben Milliken. They have 100,000 plus followers or whatever they have on YouTube, and they're out there probably making more money and spending less money creating content, and they fish every day. There's no pressure. They go where they want to go. They don't have to travel to a lake that they hate or a fishery that they don't do well at.
Yep.
You know, do you think, Bailey, do you think Ben Milliken made more money last year off of social media than he did?
He said he had a massive pay cut fishing the Elite Series.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So he made the elites, and he did not make the money that he did if he would have just made content. Yep. And it's way more stressful.
Yeah, and look, 100%. I mean, your point is correct, but it also is simply put in the fact that a lot of these guys are just natural competitors. Some of these guys hate social media. Sure. Some of them, you know, that's their passion is tournament fishing. And I totally respect the hell out of that because I understand where it's coming from, you know, but it's, I think, it's just, this is the issue right now in fishing is that we're coming at a crossroads of multiple different dilemmas, if you will, where it's, you know, we have a payout issue. We have an entry fee issue. And it's not let's solve all these problems. It's let's solve one, but let's make the other one worse. And it's like you kind of have these teeter-totters going back and forth. But then at the same time, they're like, well, you should be investing in your brand. You should be building up this YouTube stuff. They're like, well, I'm a pro angler. I should just be getting paid. Well, that's just not how it is. Yeah. You know, fishing, I think we just need to accept the fact that it's its own sport in that regard where it's, we can grow the sport, but growing the sport of fishing might not mean we're growing the sport of tournament fishing, you know, where it's the sport of tournament fishing can only be so grown in my personal opinion. Yeah. You can be well over capacity, just like how with the NFL, you know, you can only have so many players.
Well, take kayak fishing,
and most of them are bad that are on the Eagles. You are absolutely correct, Bailey.
Well, take kayak fishing. I mean, you know, Alex doesn't fish them, but you know, look at the national trails and kayak fishing. The numbers have dropped from last year to this year.
Well, I think this year, obviously, it's the one weird. I'm hopeful for next year. We'll see what happens for next year. We can kind of really gauge that. But yeah, this past year just being what it was with election year and all that stuff, you have no idea what the hell's going on. But yeah, I don't know. It's a really weird situation, and I feel bad honestly for a lot of pro anglers right now across the board because every year a trail is making a major change to how they're doing things, and these guys are just like, what's next? What's going to change next year? How am I going to have to adjust next year? They get comfortable finally in a format, they change again, and it's like it's just so hard. Especially, I hate the change in regards to just, you know, the viewership. You know, especially if you're somebody that's new to the sport and you come in and you finally attach to it. Say you catch the tail end, it's the last couple tournaments of an elite series season, and you go the next year, and then something's changed about it. Whether, you know, especially on Major League Fishing side, like holy shit, in the past 5 years, how many times have they changed their format? And it's just like, how do you keep up with that? You know, you got these outside eyes coming in that you're trying to get as a loyal follower, somebody that gets excited, you know, when your tournament's coming up, but things keep changing and they don't understand that. You know, that's really hard to do, and that comes back to when we talk about content creation, YouTube, things like that. That is the forever constant, you know, and that's the one thing I think a lot of these guys hate about it. And it all just boils down to is ROI. The money in the fishing industry, no one's going to pay you unless you are moving that needle. I think that's the one part that some pro anglers seem to not understand yet. And I know that's why, you know, 4 or 5 years ago that there was this rift against pro anglers and content creators because they didn't think, oh, because you're not a pro, that you shouldn't be getting the money. Well, when that YouTube goober like myself is out there selling more product because I'm fishing a farm pond and I'm relatable, you know, if I'm selling more product, that brand is they're like, yeah, he's moving more of our product. Granted, yes, you're fishing the best tour out there. You are a professional angler. But when you don't tell anybody and be truthful about what you're actually throwing and you don't move product, why should we pay you? You know, and that's when the thing is, we're seeing that shift finally start to happen though. And I think like the guys like Jacob Wheeler, Scott Martin, Brandon Polinick, they were some of the drivers.
I think you said his name wrong. It's Jacoby Whaler.
Sorry, Jacoby Whaler. Whaler.
Whaler.
Yeah, like they were some of the drivers of this shift. Like you saw a lot of guys that are like, look, they're starting to rake on YouTube now, and that's how you sell more product. And we are at a really weird. It's such like it's waves, man. It's like super highs and lows, and it feels like it's by the day at this point. Like if this industry in regards to like people getting pissed, people being happy, people being pissed, and it's like one thing or another. I mean, hey, look at the bright side. People forgotten about forward facing sonar at this rate,
right? Yeah, no shit.
About everything else.
Thank God that shit from July to
enjoy
October.
It until February.
It'll come back.
When the first tournament happens and they win it on forward, it's going to come all back.
I just realized, Bailey, you opened my eyes. You said that this thing runs, peaks and valleys. No wonder Randy Blockett is a fucking psychopath. He's been doing this forever. This is why he's just
in all of his tournaments, dude. That's been his boat. He sinks it and then he finally lifts it.
Exactly.
Speaking of asses, his wife's ass rivals
would you stop? No way.
What? She's a powerlifter.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's weird.
Anyway,
how do you know what Randy Blockett's wife?
I watch his channel, and he posts some stuff about her when she's in competition season.
What do they have, an over 60 powerlifting?
Oh, I think no. Randy's married to a young girl.
Oh,
she's probably our age.
She's like, oh, you work for Megabass.
Hey, Bailey, tell me this. Do you have any idea why there's
Hold on, Bailey tried to get signed with Megabass, but it's because he thought it said mega ass. And he was like, that's for me.
That's me. I got a mega
ass.
I
called copyright.
Yeah. Hey, Bailey, tell me something. Why do the elites have 100 anglers instead of 50? Do you know what why that number's there?
That's a great question. I do not know. I'm going to assume because that means the 50 more guys that are going to pay them $45,000. That's the
not next year, not in 2025. Well,
I don't know. I genuinely do not know. I don't know what
I've got it.
That used to change all the time too. Of like, was it 80? Yeah. Was it 90? I don't know what constitutes how many they bring in. I feel like, my opinion, the smaller the number, the more prestige it is. But I don't know. I do not know.
So all right, Bailey, and we're gonna preface this with a ton of the elite guys. Guys that are rookies, second year, third year in. Those are the ones most likely to go out. Take away your relationship with those folks.
Okay.
Would Bass be better off going to a smaller field to run the no entry fee? Would they be better off? Would the anglers be better off if you went to the smaller field and you treated it like that? So the NFL and the NBA are similar in kids coming out of college and being able to make the team. Like the NBA has the smallest team. The NFL, they've got a large team, but it's hard to make it. But the ones that do make it are typically the best of the best in both of those leagues. Would Bass be better off having a smaller field where the folks that are there are getting paid more money and it's the elite of the elites?
It depends on what you mean. So better off by payouts, most likely, yeah, because smaller size means less money
50.
distribution.
Yeah, it cuts in half. Yeah.
If you want to talk about viewership, I guess that depends, but I think unlikely when you rate it as the elites of the elites and you talk about the best of the best, smaller field going at it, that's more intrigue versus 100 guys going at it. I think, I think overall, it's when you try to look at it from a different perspective, because at the end all be all, Bass is like, how are we going to make more money? That's all they care about. Mm-hmm. It's hard when they say it. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Actually, I'm going to dodge that one. We'll save that for another time when I actually have some beers in me. But
you get a beer.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think if their goal is for to solve the payout problem and to increase viewership, yeah, I think it would be beneficial.
I can't wait to cook. All right. I've got a whole different. There's no way that they can drop to 50, and here's why. They keep it at 100.
I don't think they can. I'm just saying, would it? Yeah.
Would it? They would never, because what they do is they keep this dream of alive of, hey, you could become an elite pro angler. All you have to do is work through our farm system, right? Where you still have to pay your entry fees, all that stuff, right? If you cut it to 50, that's 50 less spots. You'd have more people go, okay, I'm not going to do that open because they're only going to take 50, so they're going to lose the money off that. I think them keeping it at 100 is nothing but to dangle the carrot in front of the average Joe Blow angler that, don't worry, enough hard work in the open series. You pay, I don't know, at least $500,000 worth of entry fees over the years. You can maybe one day become number 99. That angler knows in their heart of hearts that they're never in the top 50, right? But they will continue to bleed money for this dream that they could become an elite, serious angler. I like how I tied in your podcast with this evil machine as well.
If it was as good as you thought, you wouldn't have to said you tied it in. We'd have all known.
But that's what I think. I think they do it on purpose as a carrot on a stick for the average Joe Blow angler.
Yeah,
so
I can see that for sure.
Yeah, so you have let's say 2/3 of the field is helping pay out the top third of the field.
Exactly. You're using them to help pay out the other end, right? And listen, every sport has that though, right? You've got to have teams that aren't good, right? Like the Philadelphia Eagles, teams like that just have to like somehow not be at the top of their division, and somehow the Washington Commanders are. Like, you have to have teams like that.
You sound like a Jets
people
fan.
like that. I'm not. No, Jets are awful too. I'm a Seahawks fan. Like I'm a Seahawks
Alex
fan.
has never thrown a football in his life.
I have thrown a football. I threw a football once to my stepdad. I knocked over his meth pipe, and then I never played football again. I'm just joking. I've thrown a football multiple times. I had multiple stepdads. God, let's not take it too seriously.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic because we don't have all the information, because bass fishing isn't as open as
it's gambling
sports.
They're never going to be open with it. It's gambling. Like NFL has to report. NFL has to report earnings, right? All these other leagues have to report earnings. Bass fishing, BASS wants to be a legitimized sport, but they refuse to open up all of that information. You're not a legitimate sports league until you open all of that up. That's just, and until then, you're just slot machines with a Bass Pro Shop hat slapped on top.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. If we're gonna go down these rabbit holes, then
go down them.
Here's my thing. You want to make tournament fishing more accessible for people to watch and get into the sport. Why are you making them go pay for a Fox subscription to go watch your production? Instead, you stick them on the live mix that half anybody's not even paying attention to on the broadcast and offline. Like, you're making it that much harder. I mean, we want to go down the talk of the NFL right now, where you got to have 17 streaming services and $3 million to watch every game this year. Right. It's the same thing with bass fishing, where it's like, at least Major League Fishing streaming their crap online for free. Like, that's one nice thing. Bass, where if you want to, you can watch for free online. You're going to watch live mix, but there's absolutely no sound. It's the angler's back for half the time, and then you have a little bit of commentary that people forget they had a hot mic on half the time too. Yep, which makes for great screen recording, by the way. But
it's boring. Fishing is boring as fuck.
Well, the commentators need to
commentate.
They do, which is hard. So, like, do you want to watch it for free? Here's this live mix where it's boring as hell. Well, at least you have a small percentage of people that'll watch it regardless because they're just avids, right?
If it's their local lake, they'll watch it because they want to go out there and go lake. What? Yeah.
But the production, man, why are you making someone have a Fox subscription to watch that? If you're trying to increase that's where I just.
But they didn't have that before, right? When MLF was popping off, when they came back with their restructure and their production value was on point at MLF. That was when they first came back with that stupid every fish counts thing, right? Where like Jacoby Wheeler decided to catch a bunch of 1 pound fish and became the champ over there, right? But that production was so good. And then bass started to have better production, and then they paywalled it. The stupidest thing ever. All those streaming, all that production work is nothing for the avid fan. It should not be for the avid fan. It should be to bring more people in to watch your product. It should not be the dude who follows every single tournament, right? Those things are supposed to be to draw in new viewers, right? And they don't do that. They've just completely given up on that at this point within the last 2 years. And it's sad because at one point I thought the bass was getting better. They had great commentary over the top, and then they paywalled everything, and now it's shit again. It's back how it used to be.
I find it funny that they try to say, hey, you guys are going to have, they say to the anglers, you're going to have all this live time. You know, you're guaranteed a certain amount of live time per year, but also we're going to restrict that live time by making the viewer go and pay. So make sure tell the brands that you're trying to ask money for that we restricted the viewership. But they're also saying viewership numbers are going up, which I don't know.
No
At the end of the day, Nielsen ratings have been sued multiple times for not being accurate for a reason. So I don't know how much I trust those numbers.
How is that a thing anymore?
How is
Nielsen
fishing
ratings a thing anymore? Like that's
look,
because I remember when I was a kid, you always had like one family on a block who had the Nielsen box in their house, right? And we would just put like Showtime porn on it and made sure that we were like, yeah, we want to see more of this on TV. We want to see more because as kids, we thought that's how we were going to get more free channels because we're idiots. But like there was always like one family that had a special box, but it was only like one house per block. How do you even do that nowadays? I don't understand it. Doesn't make sense.
I don't know how
they make it all up.
I love bass fishing. I love learning. I don't watch any streaming bass fishing. If it's on Santee or Murray or Norman, somewhere that I'm potentially going to fish within that time frame for one of these big kayak tournaments or something, I might go watch it. But when NFL is on, whatever room I'm in my house, NFL's on. The Red Zone channel is on.
Yeah.
Bass fishing is fucking boring. I don't want to get into that side up because we talked about it a bunch on here. It's boring as shit. And I feel like the commentary could be better because bass will still have like 2 hours in the middle of the day where the commentary is not even there. It's just what Bailey said earlier. It's just you watching somebody fish with a camera guy trying to film and ask questions. Those guys aren't commentators. They're filming. And sure, you get some really good outtakes from that. But to keep people intrigued, they got to have 2 things. One, you got to be catching fish. Nobody wants to sit there and watch somebody flip a jig or throw a spinner bait and not catch shit for 15 minutes. So I'm like, fuck this. You know, let me go watch something
quickly
else.
Rotate red zone it, right? Red zone quickly.
Or you have that red zone type commentary. Yeah. Where Andrew Siciliano or whatever the fuck his name is, he is going through every play, everything. You're going back and forth, and he's just there for fucking 8 hours going back and forth to what's going on. And they don't have that. So from a viewership standpoint, it's boring. And they probably end up losing.
I've got a way to fix it.
In the middle.
I've got a way to fix it. They want to keep getting
the dumbest shit we've heard tonight.
Nope. No, this is real. So like they want to keep getting young folks into fishing, right? A lot of young folks will watch streamers, right? They watch Twitch and YouTube people that stream live. They'll play a video game or whatever the fuck they're doing, right? But people aren't there really for that. They're there for that person talking, that person commentating, right?
Personality.
Personality, right? You can absolutely do that in fishing. There are young folks who can talk on camera well, right? But it might not always be like super technique based. It might be some little quips, some little bullshit in there, right? All within brand. Obviously, you don't want to be Bass and Brews.
It should be right? not to interrupt you, but to add. 10 seconds.
Interrupt his ass because if he says right one more fucking time tonight, I'm going to drive up to New Jersey and I'm going to kick him in the nuts and drive home.
Well, I want to hear the end of your point here, Alex, because with that though. One of my biggest things, bass fishing in nature is not polished, is not a clean sport. It is your buddies. You got half the people out there chain smoking. They're swearing with each other. Beer drinking. Like we shouldn't be suit and tie. It's not ESPN. And ESPN nowadays is swearing. You got Pat McAfee dropping shit and fuck on like it's continue.
So you literally you literally stole it. I was about ready to come out, or I was about ready to talk about how Pat McAfee is literally changing how sports broadcasting is going, right? He's treating it very much. And you could do that. You could get some 21 to 25-year-old anglers, put them on a commentary on this shit, right? So even if they're not catching fish, because everybody likes to see people catch fish, like Paul said, right? But if they're not catching, it would still be entertaining. I would still watch. Pat McAfee is amazing at it. Oh shit, I almost knocked stuff over. He's amazing. He is changing the face of sports broadcasting with how he's doing it, right? Fishing has this opportunity where they could take risks. Bass could take risks because you know what? You might piss off some old folks, but they're still throwing a fucking cream worm and nobody gives a fuck. Like they're still throwing yum dingers and that's a $2.50 fucking bag of worms, right? But if you get a bunch of kids involved or younger folks involved who have a disposable income, they're going to be able to buy the shit that's higher priced. I feel like that's the audience you want to go to. Fishing is so held up and we're just here for the old heads. We're just here for the 50 to 60-year-old guys because we don't want to rock tradition. Fuck that tradition. Go out, make it entertaining, and people will buy shit and people will be entertained. They'll watch your broadcast. They'll watch the ads that pop up because they're glued in. They want to know what Bailey's going to say next when he has like 16 twisted tees and Jalen Hurts just threw his 4th interception. He's going to be drunk and he's going to be angry. And that's what we want to see on these things, right? Like Zona was good at it because you could tell Zona would give life to these broadcasts, but now he's gone. You're fucked. You're fucked. Who else are you going to put up there?
I
don't know what they're going to do.
In their tidy whities.
Here's what they're going to do.
Shit stains on live air. That's
all I want to see everybody email Bass now. I want to see Bailey and Alex Rudd commentating all the BASS events.
You don't want to
like you do it a live stream. I think it would be good. Well, maybe not you. Never mind. I take that back. Captain Andrew and Rudd. That's who we want. The actual
Andrew would fall asleep after 15 minutes.
Yes, he would. He's a narcoleptic.
I've been forcing night offs for him because he falls asleep now on us.
But yeah, these are things that they could be doing better, and they're still stuck in this old mentality. It's like ridiculous, and I don't know why they keep doing it. It's not working, obviously, even though they say viewership's up. It's not. It's up by old dudes who just figured out how to use YouTube. Congrats.
Hey, Bailey, tell me this.
Yeah. Look at that. The sunglass, the glasses change mid-show. Solid.
You look at that dude with like a old Ram 250 2500 lifted. That's just a complete and utter douchebag.
Dude, he sits there at the gas station just waiting for somebody like 17, 18 years old asking him to buy beer for him.
Yeah, and
he's got a pack of the motherfuckers that sit at the 2 diesel pumps at a gas station and then go inside and go shit.
Oh, that's
food. And
hold on, Bailey.
Like 20 minutes later, they
hold
come
on.
Back
now, you know what, Alex?
You're a bitch.
Alex, add on to that. He's got a white Monster. He's got a vape that he stole from his cousin, and he's waiting for some. He's waiting at the gas station, not for beer. He's asking the old guy to buy him some Zins. That's what he's asking.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Hey, Bailey, when you roll up to the gas station, do you leave said pump at any point?
Do I leave the pump?
Yeah, so you're gonna go in there, right? Let's say you pumped your gas.
Yeah.
And you're done. Do you then leave to go into the actual gas station store to go shopping, or do you move your vehicle from the pump?
If it's dead, I'll leave it there. If it's busy, I will definitely move my truck. Yeah.
Oh, if it's dead, you'll just leave it there. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
right,
I can deal with
else
that.
there.
I can
Yeah.
deal with that. Yeah, I can deal with that. Bitch, if there are motherfuckers in line to get a gas pump and you walk your ass inside after you pump gas, I get it if you're paying cash, but look, ain't nobody.
No.
Anyway,
no.
I had this young kid doing it a couple weeks
shit.
ago. This teenager pulled into a pump. I was right behind him. It was super freaking busy gas station. He pulls in to the pump, turns off his car, doesn't even start the gas, walks in, takes 5 minutes, then comes out, then pumps his gas.
Well, maybe he had to pay in cash.
No, he used his card. I looked exactly for that.
Fucking piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, In New Jersey, we're not trustworthy enough to pump our own gas, and there's nothing worse than Pennsylvania plates coming into a gas station during the summer. They get real excited because they're like, "Oh yeah, don't you know? Like I don't have to pump my own gas." And then they go inside, get like 19 fucking hot dogs and a Wawa hoagie. The whole time their car's been done for 10 minutes. It's the fucking worst. I hate everybody who leaves their car at a pump. But if it's dead, you're right.
Speaking of Alex being short, Bailey, I have a question.
Solid move.
Question.
What a transition.
Do we see the content creators, the AKA YouTubers, growing more than the pro anglers? Like,
You've already seen them. They've already gone past them.
Do we continue to see the YouTubers, the Bailey Eigbrets,
turds,
taking money away from those pros because they're out there making content and building a brand that isn't centered around an acronym like BASS or MLF? Do we continue to see that?
The more brands that realize that the people out there quite simply putting in the effort to move product are more ROI for them and their brand.
Yep.
Yes. But that being said, I think there also is, you asked me that 2 years ago, I would say major time content creators taking a lot of money away from that pro tournament angler pool. But I think there's a lot of tournament anglers that have had a severe wake-up call within those 2 years that have been putting efforts toward trying to be that hybrid.
Yep.
You've seen guys like Kyle Patrick, Logan Parks. You've seen guys like Patrick Walters, who've been kind of like a radio silent social media guy, hire somebody to be his videographer, start a YouTube channel. You got Justin Hamner. Granted, it helped that he freaking won the Classic, but he actually hired that guy before the Classic. Perfect timing. The first event they filmed is the one he freaking wins. You got guys doing that, and I think they're realizing that they need to do it. And they've realized that a while ago they need to do it. So I don't think so. I think right now, I think there definitely still is, but I don't think they're taking away from specific brands, if that makes sense. I think if anything right now, we might be seeing more streamlining where there is these brands like Rapala, Pure Fishing. Pure Fishing is a weird one because they tap into a whole bunch of different spaces.
Yeah. They got a lot of different products.
They do it really well in regards to being strategic with who they work with.
Especially saltwater. They got a lot of saltwater shit.
Saltwater, multi-species, walleye. Yeah. Like they really look at who's who in each lane. Yep. But I think there's a lot of brands like Rather Outdoors, Strike King Lose. They obviously have a lot in the pro tournament pool, but they also have some pretty big YouTubers that can move a lot of products for them. What they realize with that is, the Lose Custom Pro, the top stuff, that's who they go with these tournament pros with. Whereas like your Tyler Anderson and your Kicking Bass, I'm trying to remember his name, but he's monstrous. He's your Mock Crush kind of guy, and he sells the living crap out of those. Where
they
then
make more money on those smaller products.
Whereas here's a great example of like an Academy Sports is one where they might sponsor a couple pro anglers here or there, but they might look towards these influencers that are just the general avids, like say a Macy Watkins, who is fishy. She hunts a lot, but she also does a whole bunch of like storage stuff. She goes on whatever that may be. I think lanes are realizing their different opportunities where I think brands are just becoming ever growingly smarter with their money. And that's what I think what we need. Now we just need to pull in that non-endemic money to really help the sport.
Look, Bass already tried that in the early 2000s when they were.
Well, we're not going to see it.
It's going to be on the
FLW. They all had the endemic sponsors. There's a reason why 20 years later the endemic sponsors are just done with it.
Yep,
because they had the heydays in the early 2000s and the early 2010s. They had the heydays of it, and they realized this shit ain't gonna work.
But here's the only caveat: the more they're never, and this is where the tournament leagues are like, this is where they need to realize this. The more that these pro anglers become a hybrid of a content creator / YouTuber. The more those non-endemics are going to get back into that space because they see them they're not going to sponsor. They're like, we don't give a shit that you're on the Elite Series.
Yeah.
They're like, they care about the 50,000 subscribers and the amount of average views and reach that you're getting on social media. That's what they care about. So the more they do that and the more anglers they see, they might, okay, this tournament, it's bringing more non-endemic brands to the tournament eyes anyway for these guys.
Right.
For the ones, but that requires ones that do it well and do it consistently, where that's a very small pool right now from that end.
So you're talking about
that's
the people
what
that are selling.
Manscaped
Hold on, shut the fuck up.
Dude
I'm
Wipes,
talking
right?
now.
Because they sponsor
Dude
everything
Wipes
right now.
Or batteries. Dude Wipes.
Sure.
I think batteries we can call endemic now.
Endemic, for
that's
sure.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's-
we're talking
that's a
about
big
non-endemic.
I'm talking about like food. I'm talking about like gas stations. Like Hunter Shryock had the Pilot sponsorship for a while.
That's
where it's
solid
stuff
too.
like that.
Yeah.
Like, I told Bryant
Sheets.
Smith, I was like, bro, when you drive from the West Coast all the way out to the East Coast as many times as you do, like your title sponsor should be Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Like, there's no way that it shouldn't be.
Right.
And I'm like, one, we got in this whole side tangent. This is actually fucking sick. If you want to look into this stuff, like, I told him, like, dude, here's what you do. You're gonna blow up from this. I was like, you get that contact for Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You wrap your car like a NASCAR, your boat like a NASCAR with the Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Yeah.
And I said, screw a jersey, bring the race car jumpsuit to the scene.
Yes.
And you're gonna be everybody's eyes.
Yeah, because if you look
course,
at what's his name, I always forget his name with the on-him hat, right? Like something different.
How the fuck do you?
Because I've been
Christ.
Yeah, Robinson, right? So, but
that's who I
something different,
referenced
right?
earlier with
Like
the
you
tidy
dress out
whities.
in that full fucking jumpsuit, the camera's going to be on you. You look different. It's eye catching, and you're on brand with that brand already, right? Because they do so much NASCAR. You could link into that whole other thing, and guess what? Most people that watch NASCAR, they like getting drunk and catching fish too. And you're gonna you're gonna get a crossover. That's an amazing idea.
There's a ton of anglers out there buying ugly sticks because of Matt fucking Robertson, who
100%
fish for catfish. There are bass anglers buying ugly sticks to bass fish because of Matt. But to Bailey's point, the Valvoline, if you're putting 30, 40, 50,000 miles on your truck, and if you're going in for an oil change every 5,000 or 6,000, in every single Valvoline place that you go to, you're recording a video and you're getting the workers and what they're doing, and all the let's just say 2-minute video. Take it down to the shorts, the 1 minute, 2-minute video. You're taking those videos, and it's just a 2-minute, 1-minute video of you at Valvoline with what they're doing with the guys there. Dude, how many people are going to go, well, shit, let me go to the Valvoline store. Let me go to do that stuff. So, that makes sense on that part.
Listen, and I'm going to take this time right now to let you guys know that this episode of Bass and Brews is brought to you by Astroglide. Fuck Valvoline. If you really want to grease up your motor, if it's good enough for your lady, it's good enough for your engine. So just throw that motherfucker. You don't even have to put it anywhere. You just kind of drip it on it really seductively on top of your engine, and it works that way as well. So coming in 2025.
Congrats on the bait fuel sponsorship, boys.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, this is better than bait fuel. The Astroglide Bass and Brews Edition lube is actually made with real rotten cod, so you really get that true fish smell that everybody likes to
Can you
smell.
please record a video of taking Astroglide out and put it on a bait and catching something on it?
Dude, that'd be so fucking funny. That'd be so fucking funny.
Dude, you know, it'd be hilarious
I'm gonna
though if
do
you
it.
swap the bottle of bait fuel with the Astroglide.
Yeah, it's just
See if they notice it. That's the one way you debunk whether or not it's bait fuel.
right.
No, here's what you do. You take the Astroglide out fishing and catch fish.
Yep.
And when you get home, you take the bait fuel, and obviously you can't show it on the internet because you'll get tagged unless it's on. But you have the sound and the movements of the bait fuel instead of Astroglide. Man, that would be Alex. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Oh my God. Is it in you?
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what you would hear. But it would be all blacked out. I was about to say that'd be funny as fuck, and Paul beat me to it. Yeah, that would be the idea, is that you would be like, hey, I'm gonna use
Bailey, you're doing it with us.
Astroglide.
We're all creating a video where we use Astroglide to catch fish, and then we get home, we're using bait fuel. You know what? Fuck bait fuel. We're using Astroglide to catch fish, and then we're using the Astroglide to have a good time in the shower.
I was about to say that's the right move, right? You just use Astroglide for everything. Like you do a video where it's like a daily thing. Like you wake up in the morning and you put Astroglide in your coffee and you drink it.
The Zohan with the hummus.
Exactly. So you use. That's exactly what I was thinking, Bailey. You use it for everything.
Astroglide is a great beard conditioner.
Yeah.
You know, fuck
put it into
beard
the beard.
oil, all those stinky beard oils. Just use Astroglide. That's what I use tonight.
Dude, we use it on literally like, man, it's real sunny out here. Should probably put on sunscreen, but you know what's better? Astroglide. You just lube yourself up. Just get it all in there. I think that's the move.
Look, if you wear Vipers, you should be using Astroglide as a beard conditioner.
I like it. Hey, so anyways, go out to astroglide.com, put in discount code Bab wants some money. And let's see if they can give us a sponsorship.
Disclaimer: all this shit about Astroglide, we are not sponsored by them. We just love their product, and it makes jacking off way better.
Dude, every time we mention Astroglide, it just reminds me of that scene in Superbad where he's like, "Did you bring anything?" He goes, "Yeah, I brought some condoms and some lube." And he's like, "What do you mean lube? She's 18 years old. Well, she's gonna need some lube for your big cock." Like that's all it fucking reminds me of.
Yeah, it's not funny. Hey, all right. So we're gonna start wrapping this up. I think.
Are we?
Maybe I don't know.
Hey, before we start wrapping it up,
Bailey's drinking water out of a damn coffee cup, sitting back in his chair like he's ready to be done. So
I got it. Hey, Bailey, I got a quick question.
Bailey has anything else to add? I have one more question.
Well, before you get to that, Bailey, you've played this game before, but now you're going to play the Thanksgiving edition. It's marry, fuck, kill.
Okay.
Everybody knows the rules. I'm going to give him 3 options. He's got to marry one, fornicate with one, and kill one. And because the Thanksgiving season is upon us, your options are mac and cheese, stuffing, or candied yams.
What? Candied
yams.
Oh, I thought you said candied DMs. Okay, sorry.
No, that's about your ass.
Hey,
yeah,
Paul Heels on Instagram. Send me some candied DMs.
Candied DMs.
That's a fat boy comment.
I'm killing the yams.
All right.
I am. Oh shoot, mac and cheese is number 1. So I don't know if I want to marry it. If you want to fuck. I don't know.
It's tough.
Well, answer the question, Bailey. Quit thinking.
I'm thinking, bro. Damn.
Quit thinking, house, bro.
I'm marrying the mac and cheese. I want it for the long haul.
Absolutely.
For the long haul.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll fornicate with the stuffing.
All right, Paul, you got I've got another Thanksgiving MFK, but Paul, what's your question first?
No, mine's going to be at the end.
No, this is going to be at the end. All right, everybody, you can find Bailey at Serious Angler.
This ain't the end. No, this ain't the end.
Then ask your fucking question.
No, we got to wrap up the whole fucking shit. Bailey, I started this out by saying we're going to talk about the state of professional bass fishing.
Yes.
Where are we at right now, and where are we going in the future for the state of bass professional touring bass fishing?
Right now we're in what I would call the shit show. I think it's a mess. I again, this goes back to earlier. I don't know what the answer is, and I'm glad I'm not in position where I need to know the answer because I don't know the best way forward. Because you don't know what actual viewership is, what's the best for the future, what would define bass fishing action as a legitimate professional sport. I don't know what that answer is. I think what I'd like to see is obviously the payout structure come back. And I think that guys could actually have a legitimate, comfortable income where you're not paying an entry fee. You can make good payouts. Do I think you should be getting a $10,000 check at 50th place? Probably not. But I think that guys need to build on their brands, and hopefully that'll flourish, and we can see the better streaming avenues for bass fishing, one that's received for everybody. And I think, I don't know, I think there's other avenues, honestly, that need to be explored from live bass fishing. And what I mean by that, I think is still, I've had a lot of people agree with me on this one, and I'm curious your guys' take, is if Major League Fishing started live streaming those cup events, where these guys got flown into, I mean, like they've been starting to do with the team series, they got flown to Texas, they didn't know where they're going to fish. The more that they can live stream those, I wish they did that from the get-go.
Yep.
Those were some of the best freaking productions.
So good. They were so good. Yep.
It was amazing. I think you might see bass start dabble in diversifying in other lanes of tournament fishing. Like how Major League Fishing has their team series. I think you might see bass look into something like that. Again, this is all theory. This is
that'd be cool though. Yeah.
I think we need to see, we've had this product for so long. It's not getting better. It's only seemingly, at least from the outside looking in, becoming worse. I think there needs to be more diversification of avenues, styles. And I think a lot of guys need to realize if they want to be this top-notch professional angler that needs to let their personality show. That's the only way they're going to make money.
Absolutely.
Bailey, back in the 80s, there were 2 football leagues. They consolidated into one. Well, one failed, but it became the National Football League consolidated.
That was in the 80s? Wasn't that in the 70s?
No, it was in the 80s. So, do we need to see a consolidation of there's 3 main professional touring trails out there: Bass, MLF, and NPFL. Even though NPFL is a little bit different. Does there need to be a consolidation? Does it need to be one to actually turn the corner in this sport?
I would say yes. That's just personal opinion. I don't know if that's the right answer, but I think when I look at it, I lean towards saying yes, because I think that there needs to be kind of like how it's structured, where you have your NHL, you have your AHL, and then you have your stomping grounds. I think that is what needs to happen personally, because right now all it is you have 2 proclaimed top leagues that just literally are too much focused on being petty towards one another than actually advancing their own league.
That's a good point.
Granted, it's getting slowly better, but I think we still, I don't know. I think that's going to be a lot harder said than done to get to that point. I think though, if somebody is sitting on a media gold mine, I would have done it if I've had the money to do it. I don't. I probably will never have the money to do it, but this is throwing out into the ether to someone out there. If you have the money to go find a brands that are maybe you have the money to do it, but it's like take the top 10 AOI elites.
Hey, us 3. This is a great idea, Alex. Write this shit down.
I haven't even fucking heard it yet. Shut the fuck up.
I didn't mean you guys. I meant like somebody out there in the ether that's rich and got money. Yeah, if they started a YouTube series, dude, where it's every year you take the top 10 elite AOI and top 10 MLF AOI,
yes, a World Series
out of it.
Yeah,
that is gold. And you hire legitimate, like you make a film piece around these.
Yes,
you can make 2 different avenues of media. You could have live media, and you can have a post production, and then you can have a whole spectacle around this thing, because it'd be
amazing.
One thing I've been looking into, and it drives me nuts because these guys actually annoy the living crap out of me, but they do a really good job on YouTube, is like there's one like called the Sidemen. It's Logan Paul, like all these guys that are huge on YouTube, Mr. Beast. And you look into this though, of some of the different ideas they do and how that could translate to fishing. There could be some absolute gold mines that bring in outside eyes.
Yep.
But like if someone did that, dude, there could be big money in showcasing something like that with this. You kind of make it what?
Why or how?
Where do babies come from?
It's just maybe it's just a pipe dream. But why couldn't somebody like Ike and Swindle and Jacoby Whaler and some of the folks like that?
Because Jacoby doesn't want to get called out for catching 1-pounders.
Shut up, Alex. I'm fucking talking, bitch. What's keeping somebody like that from a group of those guys?
Say what?
You know what? You need a real soundboard like mine.
All right, listen.
Why can't they go out and do something?
Oh my
on
God!
The side
Stop
like
playing that shit.
I can't stop it once it's played.
Then why'd you start it? Listen,
we're
done.
again.
You're
just
done.
Listen. Hold on. No, I'm almost done my goddamn fucking question. Fucking bitch. Oh shit, wrong person. Hey, Bailey, what's keeping a group of them from going out and doing a side project? Is there something in their contracts with Bass or MLF? What's keeping them from getting together
Bailey
and
know
doing
that
something a little bit
answer?
different?
I don't think there's anything in their contract because they collaborate all the time on stuff. When you see guys fishing with each other, I just think either one. I mean, it's a lot of work, and these guys already have a lot on their plates, especially the guys that have
a lot of ego too. A lot of ego.
Well, I mean, I think there's that, but I don't know if that plays a part in this. Where it's, I think the guys that have the means to potentially put something together like this already have so much on their plate that it's not even across their mind because they're already set. They don't need to do it. You know what I mean? Where I think they're the ones that are like they're going to be getting the invitation to do it, and they have no desire to start it. If that makes sense. Where I think it's more of a brand that has the money could start it. I think somebody on the outside. I mean, I don't know if you're going to make money off this, to be honest.
No,
I think it's more of a publicity thing. You might make a little bit of change, but it's more of you want to do it because you want to do it.
Yep.
But I don't know. That
could be cool as shit.
Yeah.
So somebody,
I just think
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I think that the sport needs it right now.
So what you're saying is that some of the young guns that are the touring professionals need to do what the Guggen squad did 10 years ago now and kind of create their own little brand, their own little production.
I don't know if brand, but you're seeing a lot of that. I feel like right now, like, I mean, Scott Martin kind of started that trend with him, Airy, Canterbury. I mean, it was even before then, like when he's traveling with it was like Tom Reddington, Brian Latimer. There was these cliques, and now you see it with Wheeler, Connell, Mark Daniels, Avina. You see it now with the young guys. You got Logan Parks. You got John Garrett, you got Rob G, you see these houses, and these guys are bringing in camera guys that film all the behind the scenes stuff. So I think that's happening. Whether they build a brand off of it or not, I don't know. I think we saw Wheeler and them try to start that with the Ding apparel that they're trying to do. I don't think that ever had or took off the ground. I'm pretty sure that died. But no, I think there's other avenues though. I think it's really untapped what these guys could do. If we're talking about the sport of tournament bass fishing and the prolong and advancement of it, there's a lot that's I think to be untapped from a media and business standpoint. Where I think you could only do so much stuff from an actual tournament structure. And I think the leagues aren't going to be the ones to do it in my mind. At least these two right now. I don't think they're the ones that are going to do it. If I had to choose one that I think wouldn't think outside the box, though, it's got to be Major League Fishing right now. They're the only ones that are willing to try.
Oh yeah, they'd be willing. Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas like the NPFL, at least they call themselves what they are. They're like, hey, we're not anything big, but we're gonna just put up our money, go compete, and they're at least brutally honest about everything. And that's why I respect the hell out of Brad and Paul and them over there. But it's it's a weird time. I feel like it's a weird crossroads in fishing and tournament fishing and things like that, where it's like, I mean, look at the thing with Milliken, right? I mean, he told everybody direct. He's like, when I was making the most money, I was fishing ditches on the side of the road for whatever the hell bit. I wasn't bass fishing. Yeah, that's what makes money on YouTube is from a fishing standpoint. And it's even when you want to look at the hunt side. For somebody that goes and hunts for anything, look at Meat Eater. Meat Eater's the freaking juggernaut. And it's because it's anything that moves, because that is what's relatable to everybody. Where we make this biggest voice out of the sport of tournament fishing, but in the grand scheme of things, if you want to put it on 100% scale, the size of tournament bass fishing and the people that lay eyes on it is probably less than 10%. I would bet in the grand scheme of just fishing.
Because most people want to go just catch a fish, to be
It's because
happy
it looks
or
cool.
catch a fish
It's,
to eat
it's
it.
sparkly to them.
Yeah.
It's the wrap
wanna
boat.
eat it.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's
Well,
the same
that's
reason
what
as a
bass
kid
fishing
growing
is,
up. I didn't care about NASCAR, but I liked the freaking M&M car because it appealed to me. But, you know, it's just
He liked
it's just
the
one of those-
M&M card. That's how he built them cakes. Is his cakes were they were not natural. They were built on peanut M&Ms.
I was just gonna say peanut.
I know. I can tell. Listen, if you eat peanut M&Ms, you have a big ass. All right, everybody, you can find him at Serious Angler
Bailey likes
everywhere.
saying the word nut.
What?
Good job. It fell on deaf ears.
Yeah, well, that's
Deaf
most of
ears.
your jokes.
Deaf ears.
Hey,
all I'm
so
saying
real
is,
quick,
let me finish. Alex, you can do your
Nope.
shit. Hey, all I'm saying is Bailey has a lot of good ideas tonight that I would invest in, and he needs to get on his shit and make it happen. Alex, send us off, Hoss.
hey, one more time for the holidays. Marry, fuck, kill. One last time. What makes the holidays for you? You're going to have to marry one, fornicate the other one. Family, sports, or the food?
That make the holiday.
Yeah. Thanksgiving's
Marry,
coming
kill,
around.
Family, sports, food.
Yep, for Thanksgiving.
Hurry up. The music's going to run out, Bailey.
Come on.
Jeez.
God damn it, this is hard.
That's what she said. But hurry up.
My teams suck. I'll kill sports.
Killing sports.
I'll marry the family first, and then fornicate
Boom,
the
there it
food.
is real quick. Just so you guys know, Bailey from Serious Angler marries his family members and fucks the food. Don't ever go to his house. You guys have a good one.
I should've seen that coming.